Hi, everybody. Welcome to your weekly broadcast coaching call podcast. This is actually our Thursday conversion. So if you're listening to this as a podcast or you're watching it as a video on our YouTube channel, rarely do we actually give up an actual Thursday or a Tuesday coaching call for all of you. This week, for the first time on the podcast and on one of our YouTube videos, you've been on some speaking, but not up close and personal. CEO Derek Kelly, lovingly referred to as Coach Kelly.
Coach Kelly.
Coach Kelly. For everybody who doesn't know, whereabouts in France did you grow up?
Nowhere in France. I sound French. No, I'm actually from the East Coast.
No.
Yes.
Where?
In Boston.
Where in Boston?
South Boston.
See, I only know Boston because of Spencer stuff.
Spencer for Hire.
I love it.
Yeah. It was a good show back in the day. You read the books, though.
I read the books.
You like the books.
I listened to the books. I'm dyslexic. Do you not know my story arc?
I know.
So if this is your first time listening to it, when you call in 833-969-4673, like everybody who's on this coaching call, you do a one-on-one coaching call with everybody. So this is kind of your opportunity. Do you like do an introduction when you meet people for the first time?
Yeah, I tell them a little about myself. I try to, I always go through an area of discovery with everybody that I meet. I try to listen more than I talk, and I ask questions.
Well, I'm going to reward you today.
Okay.
As the CEO.
Thank you.
I realize I'm just a pissant peon in the story arc of me creating this company from scratch, while I started from zero. And I mean, great story. It's going to make a great book.
Yes.
It really is. Because you know the actual story. Great story. As you recall, I was dating someone.
Mm.
And when I was dating that person, I was going to surprise that person to take them to go see the sold-out Eagles at the Forum.
Yeah.
But what I didn't tell you is I have tickets, and they're 15th row center. I was under the delusional belief that this person would come back to their senses at some point.
Mm.
That's not the case. You are my date. And you better tell me I'm pretty on Saturday. So you get to go see the Eagles 15th row center for 3.5 hours performing Hotel California in its entirety, plus another hour and a half of greatest hits. No, they play everything.
Yeah.
It's If I showed you the set list, it's kind of staggering for a 3-hour show.
All right.
They have to take an intermission. I just thought I'd do that on camera so I have it covered for, emotional posterity.
Wow.
I know, because I like you.
Wow.
And you're the only person I know. You might be the only person who tolerates me.
No, that's not true. You're loved.
Really? Can you name anyone that tolerates this? Right.
Wow.
See?
Wow. That's a wow moment.
So for those of you who listen to the podcast or watch the videos, or even those of you in the coaching room right now that are still piling in, sorry to do this. For those of you that are used, there's the truth.
Yes, the truth.
Laid out for all of you. Hard to believe I'm single.
Yeah.
Well, my delusional loss is your gain.
Yes.
15th row center.
I'll take it.
Right on the aisle.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're playing the Forum.
Yeah.
Wow. Never been in the Forum.
15th row center.
Wow.
The world famous Forum. All right, so with that said, enough of the personal stuff. If you're wondering, let me give you a little marketing tip. When you do a podcast or a video, especially an ongoing series, you want moments of connection. See, we did that for 5 minutes, right? So that people feel that they know us and that they connect with us. All the stories are true, but I always like to throw in a marketing thing, especially for people who produce podcasts. People want to know you. They want to relate to you.
Yeah.
It makes you incredibly uncomfortable to watch me talk about my life.
Well, it's a lot of it, again, it's where do you draw the line between giving too much information and telling a story? Because, again, everyone loves a story and everyone loves talking about themselves. So, again, when you're dealing with these homeowners or anyone in sales that you're trying to reach and connect with, it's finding the balance between how much you give of yourself as far as letting them get to know you and how you get to know them. There's got to be a very smart give and take, especially if we're working in this area. And we're talking about homeowners in distress.
Good point. And that's the most you've ever said on a Thursday coaching call right out of the gate. That was actually strong.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about this. This was a great plan on my part. So for all of you, I'm going to add to the Think Like Lee section the TED Talk book, or Talk Like Ted.
Yeah.
And basically they analyzed everybody's 14-minute TED Talk and looked at the top producing TED Talks.
Yeah.
And those that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 million views, and what makes them so unique, and then found the parallels between all of them. It's not the physical content. It's a formula.
Mm-hmm.
So the first formula, which is what you're talking about, formula step number 1 is tell the most horrifying stories known to man. TED Talk specifically.
Shock.
You
want to shock them.
Right. Now, I didn't intentionally do that.
You do shock a lot.
I do.
Yeah.
And I'm very open about my life, my lifestyle, and the horrors, right? Because while I don't think anybody, I'm talking out of school, most people should know this. This is not my designed intention for a profession. Wow, that was a lot of big words
Big
altogether.
words.
This is not my desired profession, right? I wanted to be a chef,
Yeah.
30 plus years of being a banker, right? And I'm just making the best of it and doing the best that I can. I was teaching someone this who's on the call, I believe Liza. I was talking about this. There's a point to making the best pepperoni pizza.
Sure.
The problem is making that pepperoni pizza every day, even though it might have started out as like an art form, turns into work.
Gets to be just not stale, but again, you do the same things over and over without adding new elements and new tools to whatever you're doing, whatever you're selling, whatever you're preparing for somebody. You got to be prepared.
So if we're going like with shocking facts, if people don't know this, every webinar I do is different. They're always different. They're not straight up scripted. So I was actually professionally trained by Joel Bauer, and I use Bauerisms throughout my training, right? And I realized that that's not congruent to me, right? So now we're back to the congruency of telling your story. Man, I'd like to call a mentor Tony Robbins, right? Tony is a big fan of you've got to live congruent, and I'll tell you that's the secret as well, right? That's a Rhonda Byrne tip right out of The Secret. If you are not living concurrently, you are not going to be successful, right? You can only tell your story. So when you go to the door, I think what everybody fears is, I don't want people to know me. I don't want to connect with people. I'll tell a fun fact. We were talking about this the other day. No, I was talking about this with Eliza the other day when I did a meeting with her about marketing. The reason I got into this business was because my house that I had with my daughter's mother went into foreclosure. You know this story.
Yeah.
And the person that I had do the short sale told me he had it handled, right? I didn't keep an eye on it because at that point my ex-wife didn't like me a whole lot. And he came to me after he lost the short sale and it went to foreclosure, which I didn't find out till after the fact.
Okay.
I go, why didn't you just ask me? It's what I do for a living, right? And that's why I trained him, and that's why all of you are sitting here, right? My personal tragedy turns into, I'm sorry for the camera people, I keep admitting people this is a live coaching call. So finding a connection is important.
Yeah. It's essential. I mean, it has to happen fast too, or you're going to lose their interest. But again, you can overtalk it, you can overstate it, you can oversell it, you know. How much is just enough? That should be the question.
I don't know if I have that capability.
Yeah. When you go into a doctor and have a consultation, what's the first thing the doctor does? He asks you some questions. It's the period of his discovery to find out what's wrong with you. So again, in this instance, we're going to the door to find out what are their symptoms, what's wrong with them, and then I want to give them the remedy. You know, so part of it, again, looking at all the great coaching techniques and the tactics and how to persuade and how to influence people, get them on your side, find the common ground. What do we got to do? We got to let them talk and find out what's wrong. Get them to open up. And you do that by listening. Your listening skills should be fine-tuned to the point where you're asking the right questions to get them to open.
There you go. That's your opening tip. So today's call is about homeowner assistance scams.
Yeah.
This is a great icebreaker, right? So let's kind of go through these, shall we?
Every time I do my one-on-one Zooms, I go to this document. It's one of the documents that I will bring for a first meeting. It gives me some extra value, gives them something to look out for, because there's going to be people trying to scam them.
So the first is lender and loan scam. By the way, this document's available in the archives. If you're watching the video, this is one of many docs. If you scroll down on it, you can insert your own logo. This is one of the longest standing used documents, and we highly recommend it. I mean, while I've been rebuilding the appointment module, this is definitely one that's making the cut. Lender and loan service scams. Lender and loan services are debt collectors and do not represent the best interest of the homeowner. Lender loan services are financially incentivized, good word,
yes,
to delay the loan modification process for months and require homeowners to reapply for loan modifications multiple times. So let's break this down.
Yeah, where are you going to see this?
Okay,
From
so
banks?
this is a foreclosure stalling tactic.
Yep.
That is illegal,
Okay.
right? So they claim to be working with the lender. They claim to be doing loan mods. But what they do is they're cranking you for money and avoiding foreclosure.
They're a loan company. What are they?
They're nothing. They're
just
Bob, who's got a good scam this week.
Yeah, saying that he can get you a
loan
loan so you can
or,
catch
right.
up.
First
on
of all, they'll
payments.
take upfront money, which you can't do. Second of all, they'll tell you they've also got foreclosure avoidance.
Yeah.
So here's the bottom line. It's a stat that we used to talk about previously. It's why it's on this form. I wrote it. Only about 15% of people apply get a real loan cash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the reason I tell all of you, the people that you're meeting, 85% of them who claim that they're going to get a loan mod, again, this is me doing math out loud, actually get a trial loan mod. They don't get any loan mod whatsoever, right? So, I mean, let's really break this down. That means for every 10 people I meet, 1.5 of them is going to physically be approved for a real loan modification, right? And what are those criteria? And let's keep those in mind. Number one, they're going to have equity.
Yep.
I do not believe you can get a loan modification without equity right now. And number two, you better show lots of income, especially with the forbearance situation. That's it. Keep it as simple as that. Everybody else who brings it up, the minute they say, I'm behind $30,000 or I was behind. First of all, if they tell you they were behind before COVID, right, they're not getting a loan mod, period. Okay? Now let's go to this group. I had a forbearance or I had this or I need to make adjustments after I paid whatever.
Yeah.
They got to have equity. They got to show income. Everybody got it? Write it down. 85% are not going to get approved. These are all generally scams and promises that people cannot deliver. Bankruptcy filing scams. While I am not a legal scholar, nor is my CEO here, I do say that you should consult with your attorney, broker, CPA, mom, dad, anybody probably with more sense than me on some of these topics as a banker. Now, I can speak to my experience, and because I wrote this. A bank filing does not stop a foreclosure. Got it? Doesn't. It only delays it. Furthermore, a bankruptcy filing does not modify an existing mortgage. Got it? If they do a cram down theory or a Chapter 13, right, it'll go to a trustee. They'll create one general payment. It'll be a part of that payment. But it doesn't adjust what's owed. And those don't get approved. There was a big 60 Minutes video about it. It just is not a thing. Lender/loan servicers can foreclose on a property without further notice once the bankruptcy is dismissed, discharged, and it's missing one, set aside. If a notice of trustee sale was issued prior to the bankruptcy filing and a loan modification or payment plan is not approved. Note, a Chapter 13 filing does not eliminate a second mortgage until all core payments are paid over 5 years. Got it?
All right, in layman terms,
In layman terms, okay, let's say you magically got a Chapter 13, right,
Yeah.
where you're making one payment to a trustee every single month who's got all of your personal debts.
This is for somebody that's
There's
in
two
foreclosure.
bankruptcies that matter.
Yeah.
713.
Yeah.
7 is I got everything wiped out.
Discharge it all.
Let's cover that one.
13 is modified.
Right.
Where you pay back. You can put things on the bankruptcy to not go on the bankruptcy. That's the 13.
No, it's all of your debts that are listed in the bankruptcy itself. Right.
You don't have to list the house.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's start with 7.
Yeah.
The number one way to avoid foreclosure as a foreclosure avoidance scam that's paid for is quote unquote attorneys filing multiple bankruptcies. So what you do is you file it, they remove the sale date. Once the sale date is taken down, they get closer to the event, then they actually pull the bankruptcy case and let the clock start over. Mm-hmm. And this can go on.
They can just, it's a stall technique.
It's a stall technique. And you pay the attorney. Now, when the attorneys are pressed on this, they'll say that they're working on a bankruptcy and it looks completely legal on paper, when in fact it is the biggest pile of bullpucky.
Yeah.
Bullpucky. I quoted my father. Chapter 13, which at one point from 2007 was considered cram down theory.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to go in, you're going to have all these people take all of your debts, they're going to right, cool. You couldn't pay before. Why are you able to pay now? Let's go back to
what's the motivation for the attorneys? They want the bankruptcy.
Well, they want the 7. Nobody gets a 13.
Yeah.
According to a 60 Minutes piece I watched, there's no such thing really as a Chapter 13, and it's kind of a myth that they exist. So you got to focus on Chapter 7. So do homeowners believe that by doing a bankruptcy, they keep their house? And the answer is yes, they do believe. Like they will say it definitively to me at the bank. I filed bankruptcy. Yay, you win the lotto.
Yeah.
Right? You get to keep your house and not ever make a payment to another creditor. What bullshit is that?
That's not happening.
That's not happening.
I know somebody that did a bankruptcy that didn't include their house on it, so they did a 13.
No, they did 7, but you
they were trying to straighten out their credit, though.
You can leave off items.
Yeah.
Right? You can leave off the car. You can leave off the, right? You can do all that. But it's just the way it is. Okay? So that's a good one.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can move this down ever so slightly.
But just be careful, too. Again, you can't give them legal advice.
No, but you can give them this form.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, send them to me. I'm happy to talk. Upfront fee scam. I don't care what the service is. If they're actively in default, you cannot take an upfront fee. We know this as we've been working on having additional tools for you guys to monetize on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. The biggest hurdle that we have is upfront fees, right? So it's a thing.
Yeah.
Right? It always has to be self-help. Even when you're assisting them for your real estate licenses, you guys need to make it abundantly clear to them that you're not taking any upfront fees. You're assisting them for free. They're doing all the work themselves. You are just recommending. That's why we give an active disclosure when we go to the front door. It's the reason it's one of the first on. Forensic loan audit scam. I like this because my real brother-in-law is a forensic accountant. Most actionable RESPA and TILA violations expire 1 year after loan origination. A forensic loan audit does not provide a homeowner with any leverage whatsoever. So this is a scam. By the way, most of these are California laws. And why do I say that? Banks operate on California law. It's the hardest law. So you can be in Idaho and quote California law, and the bank would go, ah!
Yeah.
Right? They don't, like, if you think a bank is up to date on every single law in every single state, you would be wrong.
Yeah.
Nobody, even on the bank exec level. So a forensic loan audit is a scam looking for.
And how do they usually reach out? They call you?
I can get your loan wiped out. I can get your loan for free. I can get a demand for $5,000, or I'll get your house for free. That's the sales pitch, right? So what an attorney will do, allegedly, is make that promise, and then they will sue the bank and do a forensic loan audit and claim that they need to see the collateral, the wet documentations, to prove that this wasn't loan fraud under this individual. It doesn't work. It's actually bullshit.
Yeah.
What you can do, unofficially, and I never said this out loud, you can file a small claims
This off the
case.
record? Should we stop recording?
No.
No? Okay.
No, it's a real thing.
All
You
right.
can go into small claims. Let's say you're working on a file and you're not getting any action out of a bank or a servicer. I tell this to people all the time. Again, consult with your broker, attorney, CPA, mom, dad. Go file a small claims case so that you can force that entity into providing original documentation and wet loans. Some people are scammed, right? And you want to see the docs. You want to see, what was the original loan rate? Was it a teaser rate? Was I not consulted? Did I not initial a box? Those are real things, but do it yourself. Have the client do it themselves, right? Lawsuit scams, which ties into forensic loan audit scams. Beware of attorneys claiming that a lawsuit against a lender or a loan will stop the foreclosure, basically. It goes over to the forensic loan audit, right, which is one angle. It's still done by attorneys. Then there's the lawsuit scam. This is the same thing that I just explained to you, except in this particular case, they're the ones who are just filing a civil case to do what can be done in small claims, right? It doesn't stop the foreclosure. It may produce documentation that will be advantageous. So I don't know why you'd pay an attorney $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 to do a discovery on a bank. Do I sound like a guy who knows law?
Laws and banks.
Laws and banks, that's all I know. Hard to believe I'm single. Other common scams. If anyone tells you stop paying your mortgage and they will buy your house. Yeah, this is going to be common, especially with the investor crowd.
We've seen this.
This is already happening. This is the common one, right?
This is actually...
Especially the deeding over, like, stop paying, I'll make the payments for you. Like,
you can stay in the house.
It's all bullshit.
It's not like a reverse mortgage either.
Yeah. Right. The nonprofit counselor scam, organizations who are funded by the banks, is Lee funded by the banks?
No.
If I'm funded by the banks, I am telling you stuff that they do not want you to know. But there are organizations out there, right, that are funded by the banks historically, right, that will take the position that they are nonprofits as attempting to assist people, right? And again, this is all about loan mod scams, and this is a bank backdoor angle to get people to fill out the paperwork. Why would a bank want someone to do a loan modification? It's a redocumentation of assets and makes it easier to collect in the long run.
So you'll get a call from a nonprofit claiming to be an advocate, basically, to help the homeowner.
You do your loan mod, right? We work directly with the bank, blah, blah, blah.
But they're not working directly.
They're working with the bank.
They're working with the bank.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You should disclose. Look, if you ever hear anybody say disclose more, they are working with a bank.
Yeah.
Or they don't know shit about how all of this works. I am not a believer in over-disclosing to a bank. I think it's definitively defined when you call the 800 number when they say magically, hey, any information we use is going to be to collect on a debt. And that's something that you have to keep in mind.
You get that recording right away.
Absolutely. And lastly, the short sale listing warning, right? You really, this is older because it's not a short sale environment. Let's just say default or distressed in general, or maybe something with liens. Competent, qualified people, agents, promise and try to do things that are beyond their capabilities. One of the biggest goals of trying to help 1 million homeowners and train 1,000 agents, right, is the fact that there are agents who believe that they know what they're doing, period. And sadly, they don't, right? So they get involved, much like my first business partner, right? I got this, I got this, I got this. Oh, hey, Lee, I need to tell you, your house that I was working on with your wife went to foreclosure.
Yeah.
Cool, bro. I'm the head of loss mitigation in the HELOC division. You might have wanted to make a phone call to me. I could have made, right? So it's that shame and fear of knowing you're in over your head. Instead, I use that as a good situation to train somebody and ultimately train tens of thousands of people and millions of views and blah, 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 and change lives and blah, blah, blah. Become a dangerous hermit on the beach Joke. So that's it.
So watch out for there's going to be short sales coming.
There will be,
but it won't be a repeat of 2007,
short.
though. It won't. Will it be?
Yeah, it will be. It'll be millions.
Yeah.
And that will happen by next summer. Right now, what we're looking at is the default wave. The default wave leads to the depreciation wave. I mean, if you're looking at it in sequence, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just letting you know this document exists. It will be in the updated module for your meeting appointments. If you go to the bottom of the screen of this document, you can put in your own logo and insert your name and your license number. And it's just that simple. It's a simple arrow in the arsenal that'll be helpful to all of you. I say this to anybody who's on the podcast or on the video. Click the link. Take advantage of this guy forcing me to charge less money.
Less is more.
Or even as an upgrade, which is still making me mental.
Yep.
I want to charge double what I'm charging for the coaching student upgrade, and I want to charge about 66% more on what we're doing on the special, the /event link that's down below. There's a copy of the webinar if you're watching the video or listening to the audio. Is there anything, because this is like your first podcast and your first video, is there anything you'd like to say that you've seen about working in this system, because you do all the training and conversion, because, well, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, I think some of the students just trying to bring yourself up to speed, learn enough that you are comfortable when you get there and get in front of these people, because again, the value that you're bringing is information, education. So again, go through some videos. Again, this is a training module. You need to be trained in this area. Again, knowing how to copy and paste. I'm getting basic, computer questions a lot of times. So again,
computer questions.
You can download all the documents, download them right to your hard drive so you can edit them. I get the same questions on, I can't, find the logo. Everything's in the coaching module. We are trying to make it more user-friendly, which is one of the things that Lee and I have been working on over the last couple of weeks, and we'll add more to this. But again, take advantage, and I'm going to say this every Thursday going forward. Take advantage of the community board. I'd like you to start sharing experiences at the house. Ask your questions in there, because again, when a question's asked, you learn something. Same as when you're in front of these people. Ask them questions. 70%. I'll say it again. Let them talk 70% of the time. You're there 30%. Don't interrupt. Let them finish what they're saying, and then either make a statement, ask their opinion, ask them another question that's geared towards getting them the remedy, getting them into action, getting them into the solution.
There you go. We're going to do off-camera questions and answers for the people that are here live. If you're watching the video or you're listening to the audio, why aren't you on the coaching call? You might not be a member. Sign up. Take advantage on the link. Thanks.